Hello, I'm Will, and this is my channel. I've had my fair share of criticisms about online poll in the past, most effectively highlighted in a previous video called The Feudalist Hierarchy of Online Politics. But today, I want to shine a more positive light on this topic because frankly, there's not too many people in the online politics space that can generate, getting this many people out of their houses and, coming out and do something positive. Me and my lovely girlfriend Roxanne set out Thursday before the event from San Diego and landed in Cincinnati shortly after a 12-hour layover in Denver. Yikes. Never doing that again. When we landed, we were picked up by none other than Lycan and Lauren De Laguna having an excellent debate about whether or not black people are more likely to be criminals because they are black, as well as whether or not trans identity is a mental illness. You can guess everybody's opinions on that. Upon arriving at the streamer house, me and Roxanne dropped our gear, started charging, and took a long-needed rest. Later that day, I met someone who has become a really good buddy, Jeff, otherwise known as Destiny's cameraman on DGG. Jeff has been helping Steven's team do live streaming at their IRL events, including the Change My Mind events in Texas, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, Minds Fest in New York City and Austin, the Milo debate, and most recently, the canvassing event in Georgia. Absolutely solid guy, and we had a blast palling around talking about nerdy AV stuff while we were setting up for the live stream and recording in the streamer house, in addition to the debate with Ian Crossland on Sunday. Not So Erudite organized most of the logistics of the event, and brought out a bunch of the community's favorite streamers to come and show support for canvassing in Ohio. I met a lot of the orbiters that day, as well as getting more familiar with some of the characters that surround the Destiny sphere. Pixie, Irrelevant, I'm Really Important, Wicked Supreme, Counterpoints, Lonerbox, and Dylan Burns, to name a few. Everyone was incredibly nice and fun to talk to in person, and this time I didn't get sent away by Wicked Supreme.
Will, you're getting kicked off the island.
After getting things settled and making the rounds chit-chatting, me and Roxanne prepared for the next day, itinerary in hand. After a cursory glance, the day seemed pretty typical, but then I noticed something on my sheet called a Himbo Photoshoot. Me, Roxanne, and Jeff hopped in his whip and headed off to the venue and gathering place for the canvassers, an old church that had been retrofitted into a community center by a local woman from Cincinnati. The canvassers poured in and the amazing folks at PV got to work training them, and I was surprised by how many people kept flooding through the doors of the auditorium. In total, over 300 people came out to canvass. After a few hours of shooting and talking with the canvassers, I made my way to the sanctuary of the church to do something rather unexpected. I committed a blasphemy.
Who is it?
It's the plumber.
Plumber? I didn't call it plumber.
So it turns out a himbo is the masculine derivative of the word bimbo. I walked into the sanctuary and saw the orbiters lined up and dressed to impress the many lusty DGGers out there on the internet, and was put to task posing and taking calendar photos of DGG's favorite orbiters. Irrelevant was the fan favorite. He made the women swoon and the men jealous, and who could blame him? The dude is jacked. Incel my ass.
I am an incel!
Everyone got involved. Wicked Supreme was showing off the skills of his past modeling career. Destiny, to his chagrin, joined in for a few group photos, but quickly returned to his book. The camera couldn't get enough of Lycan, and Irrelevant and Lonerbox shot promo for their upcoming buddy cop movie. Dylan Burns was my favorite shot of the day. In the final moments of the shoot, Wicked Supreme and Irrelevant took off their shirts to bromance for democracy. This was unexpectedly some of the most fun I've had in this community. There were laughs all around, and it was a pleasure shooting pictures for the upcoming DGG monthly calendar, which is set to be released sometime later this year. Towards the end of the shoot, a fan brought out a flag that he made with Destiny's face on it, and Steven signed it along with the other orbiters. All in all, this was a hilarious project. I just hope I don't go to hell for debasing a church sanctuary. Everyone took a break for lunch before heading back to the streamer house to create content and interview some local politicians that were interested in the recent influx of canvassers coming to their state. After a few hours of streaming, the entire house went back to church for community night, which was a blast. Everyone was genuinely excited to see fellow members of the community, the streamers, and have a great time IRL. Wick was making cotton candy for the canvassers. Wick, how are you enjoying your time at the DGG canvassing event so far?
Amazing. Like, there is no better experience, right? I have experienced many things in my long, long life, but nothing compares to the bliss that it is to be at the DGG and Progressive Victory Canvassing House. My life is now complete. I can't think of a better way to spend my time than canvassing and saving democracy with the coolest people that I've ever met. I love each and every single one of you, yes, romantically as well. And if I get my way, every day would be like this. Every day. So if you haven't been canvassing before at the DGG and Progressive Victory Canvassing House, what are you doing with your life? Fix yourself. Check yourself before, as they say, you wreck yourself, okay? I know that's what the kids are saying these days, okay? Let's get that.
All right. Perfect. Relevant. How has the canvassing event been so far?
Really cool. I'm enjoying talking to the people. When I came in Georgia, I was able to only talk with like a couple people. Now it feels a little bit more coordinated that I'm able to talk feels like with everyone and anyone a lot more easily. So it's actually been really enjoyable having people like come up to me and shit like that. It's fun.
Are you surprised with like the turnout of this event?
Yeah, I am. It's like getting all these people here. A lot of people got a lot of energy. I actually like it. I like it a lot.
Have a lot of people come up and been like, oh my God, it's all relevant.
Yeah, I'm literally surprised at the amount of people that even know who the hell I am. I'm like, I felt going into this like maybe 10 people, 20 people would know who I am. But so far it's been like rapid fire, which is cool.
The canvassing was really good. Most of the people I talked to were already registered for voting. So that was cool. They were all very friendly. I had a lot of fun, and you know, this whole community is really great. Everybody's like actually dedicated to doing politics, doing real life politics. So that's super cool.
All the streamers met at the venue and split into two groups, each half going to a different part of town. I was paired off with Dylan, Irrelevant, and Lonerbox, while Roxanne went with Pixie, Straight Raid, and Destiny. Something that surprised me was how little the people we met going door to door cared about big national issues. Most people were concerned instead with local issues like parking.
I find it very important to go around and have these kind of flesh and bone interactions. Online dialogue is really vitriolic. It makes you extremely sad about your country and about the tempo of rhetoric in this country. But a lot of that's just due to the algorithm kind of incentivizing that type of vitriolic rhetoric. So I think this is good for like human interactions. We had a few good human interactions today with some people who are really motivated to get out against Trump, other people really motivated by local issues like parking. But I think the main thing that I like about being the first team to come out is we get to take it all on the chin by the people who are just annoyed by engaging in politics, so that it's easier for the next guy.
Tell us more about the person who was interested in parking, Dylan.
Tell us more about the guy who's interested in parking?
Yeah.
So apparently there's a local issue with parking in this area, and we talked to one guy and he said it was parking, but all he said was parking. He didn't want to give us any more information. He was like, oh, okay. And so we respect that, of course. We don't want to pressure these guys. We don't want to try to bully them. And then another person talked to a different canvassing team and they explained more about the parking issue. So then we found a trend, which now we can give to local leaders, which they can then bring back to the community come the election season. We can answer the needs of the people here, which I would love to see.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. The only thing that was fighting me was the weather, because my hands got so cold, but I mean, it was cool engaging with some of the people. A lot of them, every time, man, there's some people that are just really receptive and they got more to say. Like they'll come out and be very personable and they'll be smiling and happy to see me. Never seen that in my life. You'd think if you were knocking on a door, nobody wants to see you.
Mm-hmm. What was one of the best conversations you had today? What did you guys talk about?
Man, it was probably the guy with his dog.
Yeah, for sure.
He was like talking about how if Trump gets elected, he's moving to Iceland. Yeah, he's like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. And we went back and forth and stuff.
Yeah, and we got his contact information. So the pilot house is in the area. We're working with locals. We're trying to get volunteers. He was super excited, super interested. He's like, oh, I used to write postcards. I used to do phone banking. So he's a great guy we took down his contact information. We'll reach out if we need anything. So it's a good hit.
Would you guys recommend that the next time there's a DGG canvassing event, the DGGers come out?
But yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of fun with the hanging out with people, just like having people be able to just, experience just chilling. And then also being able to like do something good while you do it. Like while we've all been canvassing, we've just been hanging out and just like talking to each other and just enjoying each other's company. And then while we're doing it, we're knocking on doors. So it's like a social thing. You know what I'm saying? You're just hanging out and then you're also doing something chill.
Yeah, you're learning new skills, building up like social stuff, building up political skills. And then we joke around that it's DGG Con, but like the community here, the people here, community night last night, there's just like cotton candy, there's popcorn, there's games, there's board games, card games, people are playing Smash in the corner, people brought monitors to the venue. It's just, it's a great time.
This made me realize how little people outside of the online political bubble pay attention or care about what is happening with national politics. Let's face it, we primarily view the political landscape through a computer screen, and it was nice to be brought down to reality to remember that there are people out there who don't care about who's going to be president, but god damn it, they need more parking. I found this both reassuring and deserving of further contemplation. The last place that the streamers canvassed was a short walk away from the streamer house, so we all circled back to make some more content. After a couple hours, everyone headed back to the venue for the last time. There was a meet and greet with the orbiters in addition to a vote going on for the award ceremony. After the final vote was tallied, everyone was led into the sanctuary. Everyone grabbed a seat in the pews for a debate against Ian Crossland from Tim Pool. This was probably the most full that the church had been in years, and it was packed wall to wall. The debate, unfortunately, was not that interesting. There were some real groaners.
But my hypothesis is that we've been under the United States has been under a slow coup for like 100 years. I don't know if and I'll tell you why I think this. Be on the up and up. I don't know. The problem is I don't know. And I want to verify that.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't think you can ever know unless you personally go and inspect it. Because we're at a part right now where people are saying we can't trust anybody.
I would trust the masses in general. Like if the code was open and 600 million people around the world were like, yeah, that's legit, and here's why, then I would be like, okay, that would be
Yeah, but then
better.
we return to the technical question. How do you make sure that code is running on every box? How do you know that code is running in your particular voting machine?
I mean, you could verify it on a machine by machine basis when you go in there. Maybe you can get a printout of the software code.
Fortunately, the following Q&A was much more entertaining. Seeing DGGers that I communicated with at the event, and some even on my live stream, get a chance on the mic and ask Ian questions about his weird conspiracy theories about elections and blockchain technology was very entertaining. After the debate, I managed to pull Destiny away at the end and ask him a few questions about the canvassing event. So Destiny, what is it like to have a fan base that cares so much about you?
Expected. I mean, I'm a really cool guy. These people need a father figure to look up to. And now that Andrew Tate's locked in prison, all they've got is me.
If you had one message you could say to your fan base, especially all the people that came out here today to go canvassing, what would you say to them?
Tier 5 sub.
Tier 5 sub.
The highest dollar amount.
Amazing. Memes aside, how do you really feel about your fan base?
I think it's really cool. I like that the fact that they're so engaged politically is really cool, I think. The fact that I can mobilize this many people to come out and actually go knock on doors and do a lot of real life political stuff, and for them to take time off of either work or school or whatever, I think it's really cool. I don't know how many other fan bases of my size could actually mobilize this many people to go and do stuff. So,
do you have any recommendations for other people that have growing online fan bases for what they could do so that they could get their audience to be more active in real life?
Yeah, you just have to show that you care. Like, you've got to put in actual work into caring. You can't just be like, hey guys, remember to do this, go click some links and blah, blah, blah. Like, you have to show that you care, that you want to show up and do events, that you want to organize stuff, and it has to be more than just lip service.
Are there any content creators that maybe you would like to collaborate with in the future to do something like this?
Whoever wants to, I guess. I don't know, it depends. Like, I'm pretty open to working with almost whoever as long as we have some shared values, so David Pacman.
If you couldn't tell, everyone involved at the event had a great time. It was surprisingly wholesome and refreshing to see an online politics community like DGG gather in real life. This was Roxanne and I's first time canvassing, and we were grateful to get the opportunity to learn more about grassroots politics from the helpful and knowledgeable folks at Progressive Victory. I highly recommend to anybody that wants to get more politically active to come to DGG's next canvassing event. If not to help get progressive candidates elected, to come and see your fellow community members and streamers in real life and get to know each other a little better. Once again, I'd like to make a special thanks to Stephen, Not So Erudite, Progressive Victory, and all of the DGGers that I was able to communicate with over the weekend. It was a blast hanging out, and it was really fun to be there shooting the footage, capturing the feel of the event. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in future content.